Action 7 News' Commitment 2017 and the Albuquerque Journal are proud to present this mayoral runoff debate.
Good evening, I'm Doug Fernandez. Welcome to KOAT and the Albuquerque Journal's Commitment 2017 mayoral debate. Tim Keller and Dan Lewis are here tonight facing off in their first televised debate. Action 7 News anchor Shelley Rabando and Albuquerque Journal senior editor Kent Waltz will be asking the questions, and so will our viewers at home. The candidates will also get a chance to ask each other questions. Tim Keller and Dan Lewis are here in our studio. Gentlemen, here are the rules. In just a moment, each candidate will get 1 minute and 30 seconds for their opening statement. Then we will ask questions of each of them. They will each get 1 minute and 15 seconds to answer each question. If the same one is asked of both of them, they will each have 30 seconds for rebuttal. When a candidate has 15 seconds left, they will see a yellow light above the camera. When their time is up, that light will turn red and they will hear a bell. We would like to thank the League of Women Voters for providing us with our timers tonight, Cheryl Hacker and Judith Binder. The order in which they respond will reverse after each question. We drew names right before we went on the air, and Dan Lewis was selected and chose to go first with his opening statements.
Thank you to KOAT and thank you to Albuquerque for tuning in tonight. I love this city and I know that you do too. I've had so many opportunities in this city, whether it be to start businesses as an entrepreneur, to lead one of the fastest growing companies in Albuquerque, to pastor a great church, ministering and serving to hurting families, to serve on the Albuquerque City Council, representing a great district, one of the safest districts in Albuquerque, to raising my family here in Albuquerque. My wife, who's a APS school teacher, and my two children who are at the University of New Mexico. I want them to have all the opportunities, every opportunity and choice to go anywhere in the country they want to live and work and raise a family. But I want their best opportunities to be right here in Albuquerque. The brutal truth is our city is not defined by opportunity, it's defined by crime. I will make Albuquerque the worst place to be a criminal. We'll make it the most unwelcome place for people who want to steal cars and break into homes and wreak havoc on our city's neighborhood. And my campaign has been about a plan to do that, bold solutions to do that, how we get there, the right kind of leadership to lead it, how we do it, and how we're going to pay for it. And I want to invite you to join me together as we help this city to thrive like we know it can.
Now, Tim Keller's opening statement.
Good evening. My name is Tim Keller, and I'm humbled to be here today to ask for your vote for mayor. For me, I bring a unique background to this position. As folks might remember, I was a state senator in the International District, where I learned a lot about what it means to represent some of our most disadvantaged communities in Albuquerque. Now, of course, I'm your state auditor, fighting fraud, waste, and abuse. And that role has taught me a lot about what it means when government works and when it doesn't work, in that disconnect between what politicians say and what they actually fund. I was also born and raised here in Albuquerque, and so was my wife, and we're raising our two young children here. And for us, we believe our city is truly moving the wrong direction. We're at a crossroads, and we've got to face our problems head on so that we can be a safe, inclusive, and innovative city that works for all of us. And to do that, we need new leadership. We need new leadership first to take responsibility for our challenges and own the solutions going forward. And second, we have to propose real ideas that a mayor can actually get done and get past the talking points and the political rhetoric and actually make this the best city it can be.
Thank you, gentlemen. Shelley Rabando has our first question for both candidates. Again, each of you will have 1 minute and 15 seconds to respond, followed by rebuttals. Shelley.
Good evening to both of you. Mayor Berry has blamed our crime problem primarily on what he calls a mass release of repeat offenders from our jails time and time again. What do you think is to blame for the crime in our city, and how exactly do you plan to solve it?
Mr. Lewis, you go first.
Well, we're going to do our part, and I have a plan, a solid plan to ensure that we have the best police department in the country, the most respected and trusted police department, new leadership in APD, 1,200 police officers, 350 more police officers, and we're going to make sure they're well led and well paid and have everything they need to be able to do their job. We're going to pay for them. We're going to put a mid-year budget substitute. My first day, week in office, we're going to put a substitute for $15 million to APD and make sure we keep good officers, be very aggressive about our lateral officers, attracting lateral officers, and aggressive about PSAs, public service aides. They're going to make a career out of law enforcement. And the structure of APD is incredibly important. 60% responding to calls. What people want more than anything is to know that when they call 911 that a police officer comes promptly and is competent to be able to investigate and help them. We are going to hold the judges in the city accountable. My opponent says, Tim says we don't want to blame the judges. We are going to fix the criminal justice system that's dumping dangerous criminals back out on the streets of Albuquerque. I'll take responsibility for that.
Mr. Keller, your response?
Well, we've got a 9-page crime plan, and I'm proud to say that it was endorsed by the police officers in our city because it reflects how we actually make a difference on crime. We've got to attack crime from all sides, and that does mean reforming APD, but that means changing the way our entire department is run. And to do that, we've got to bring in new leadership at the top, and we do need 400 more officers, but we've got to rededicate everything we do to community policing, to block-by-block policing, that old-fashioned way of beat cops, officers on bike and on foot that we actually know and that are in our neighborhood year after year and that we problem solve together with on a weekly basis. That's something we've gotten away from in the last 8 years, and that's something we've got to get back to. We also have to finish the DOJ reforms, and then we've got to take back our police department. We're spending almost $10 million right now on the advisors and lawyers. That's $10 million we can use to hire more police. And at the end of the day, the mayor's job is to take ownership of APD, and I'm going to do everything I can to make that a great department, and that's first and foremost for my administration.
Mr. Lewis, 30 seconds for rebuttal.
Look, we're going to hold the judges in the city accountable. We're going to judge the judges. We're going to have a scorecard. We're going to rate the judges. We have a broken criminal court system in this city that's dumping dangerous people back out on our streets. Tim says he doesn't want to blame the judges. He's very quick to blame the city council, to blame me. But not himself, for representing one of the most dangerous areas of our city, the International District. It did nothing to change that. Changed the name of it from the war zone to the International District, but did nothing to make it safer. And part of that is reforming this criminal court system.
Mr. Keller, half a minute.
Look, we have lots of challenges in our criminal justice system, but I know as mayor, I want to do everything that I actually can control. And the reality is, it's true, for 8 years, City Council had a chance to get more officers to change the police department. And, Dan, you've been there for 8 years, and you even cut our police department. So at the end of the day, we need new leadership. That's what this is about.
Our next question is from Albuquerque Journal Senior Editor Kent Waltz. Kent.
Good evening. Both of you have proposed hiring hundreds of new police officers. The current administration has not been able to do that, and cities all over the United States are facing the same challenge. Tell us how exactly you're going to do this without lowering standards, and more specifically, how will you pay for it?
Mr. Keller, you go first.
Well, this is where detail matters and management matters. And so I believe we've got to look at the whole pipeline of officer recruitment. That means first, in the beginning, we've got to get more officers who are interested, and I want to set up a farm system so that we have a series of PSA levels that start out in high school with ROTC-like programs in our as after-school programs in high schools, and then folks work their way up with an associate's degree from CNM, and eventually they become full officers. We do also have to have uniform standards. One reason why APD is so hard off to get officers is because our standards are different than the rest of the state. Then we've got to look at the folks in the middle. We do need lateral hires, and I'm going to get the best lateral hires that have left APD. We've lost about 100 officers because of the way the department's been run. I'm going to reach out to them and bring them back, and I believe they're going to come back because they see new leadership at the top. And then it's about retention. We've got to fund keeping our best officers, and we can put together retention funding to do that. We can also work with them on different ways to compensate for retirement issues so that we're not losing cops on the back end. And we already have enough money to hire 100 more officers. We just have to get out there and do it.
Mr. Lewis, your response?
Let me answer the question directly because I think it's important that we describe how we get there. And I'm proposing that we will put $15 million into the Albuquerque Police Department in a mid-year budget substitute. We don't have a money problem at City Hall. We have a priorities problem at City Hall. So we'll put that priority on public safety. We'll be able to retain and keep the officers, the good officers that we have now, and stop the exit to other agencies, and to be able to attract officers from other agencies. And we have one of the best retirements in the country, and we'll use that to attract good officers, put them through a shortened academy, get them on the streets of Albuquerque responding to calls. And we'll be aggressive with our PSAs, those that want to make a career out of law enforcement and that are 19 and 20 years old, and we'll be able to make a career out of law enforcement. We'll be aggressive there, but most importantly, we're going to have new leadership at APD. I've been a big critic of APD leadership, but I've backed up those officers. I've funded 1,000 police officers. But the fact is, that proposal and that vision, that plan has to come from the mayor's office. The mayor has to propose a budget that puts the priority on public safety. And that's what we'll do the first day in office.
Mr. Keller, rebuttal?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, City Council writes the budget, and we've had 8 years to actually do everything that Dan just mentioned, and it just hasn't happened. And in 2009, Dan, you had a bill to cut 100 officers out of APD. In 2015, we cut officers to fund capital project. And the last budget was to take money from children for officers. That's just not the right way to fund APD.
Mr. Lewis, your rebuttal?
Well, Tim, I give you a lesson on civics and municipal government, and that is the executive. The mayor is responsible for hiring. The chief is responsible for hiring APD officers, and the council is responsible for helping to fund it. And we will fund it, and it'll start from the mayor's office. The fact is, Tim, you represented the International District, the most dangerous place in our city right now. You changed it from the war zone to the International District, and then you moved from there. You moved to the country club, and you don't represent that district anymore. But when you represented it in Santa Fe, you did nothing.
The next question comes from a viewer who submitted it on our Facebook page. Lindy Newlander wants to know, what will you do to clean up the drug paraphernalia in our parks and playgrounds to make them safer for our children? Mr. Lewis, you go first.
Well, we're going to work hard to make sure that our Parks and Recreation Department was well funded and with the right leadership, and we're going to make sure we have the kind of presence of police officers where we are doing community policing and neighborhood policing. But we do need the priority on our Parks and Rec and making sure we're cleaning up our parks. I'll put the focus on cleaning up our aging infrastructure, which includes the parks in our city. And not the kind of pet projects that politicians do like the art project and other projects where we've wasted a whole lot of money on political pet projects, but core infrastructure like the Paseo I-25 interchange, like the park that we just built, that we're building on the west side of Albuquerque. That's going to be a great place for recreation, for softball and baseball. We got the New Mexico or the United States Senior Games to come to New Mexico in 2019 because we invested in a park that's already paying for itself and will be an economic driver to the city of Albuquerque.
Mr. Keller, your answer?
Well, I want to answer the question directly. I do want to touch a little bit on some of the comments made about the International District. I was proud to represent that community over 2 election cycles, and when I was there, we had the lowest crime rate in decades. And I'm very proud of that because we actually had community policing. We had something that we haven't done since, which was a real trusting relationship between officers that we knew and then officers that knew our community. And that's so related to this question, because in that time, we actually also had a Adopt a Park program, both with law enforcement, the city, and the community, where we would work together to send a signal to folks who were littering in the parks, doing drugs in the parks. We would come out there every single day and 1, clean it up, and 2, the officers would be on foot and on bike, making sure that that wasn't happening again. That's the kind of neighborhood focus we've got to get back to. And I think the comment about the pet projects is very interesting because it's true, we have spent way too many resources on pet projects. And Dan and I disagree on this, but I don't think a new baseball field way out on the mesa is a priority. I don't think a fountain on Civic Plaza a priority. It should be just running our core city.
Mr. Lewis, rebuttal?
But Tim, you celebrate a political pet project, a pet project from a politician, which is the ART. You celebrated $120 million. $120 million. You also celebrate the fact that you took about $500,000 in public financing for your campaign. So you have no problem with spending money on public financing for your campaign. You have no problem with spending $120 million, taxpayer dollars, on a boondoggle art project running down the middle of Central. You say your campaign is about going block by block, but you didn't go block by block down Central.
Mr. Keller, 30 seconds.
Well, the art project, I had just as much issues with it. My stance is that public transit is good, and if I'm mayor, we're going to do this right. We're going to fix that project. We'll probably get a question about it later, but I would just say this. that community that I represented is a special place, and we did a lot of good things together. And that is a whole lot different than just pointing fingers and blaming folks for different random ideas like the art project, which I had nothing to do with, and my opponent actually voted on before he voted against it.
Right now, Shelley has another question for both of the candidates, starting with Mr. Keller.
Please explain exactly what you think is meant by the term sanctuary city and whether you believe Albuquerque should be one.
Tim?
You know, sanctuary city is a term that has become this sort of litmus test in our community. And I think it's important folks know where people stand on it. But I also know that that definition is now even in debate in court, in federal court. But for me, I believe we should protect all our families in Albuquerque. And I believe it's very, very important that we do everything we can for public safety in Albuquerque. So make no mistake about it, violent criminals I will prosecute as violent criminals regardless of whether or not we're a sanctuary city or regardless of someone's documentation status. But to keep our communities safe, we need to restore trust in our community between officers. And to do that, folks cannot be afraid. When I was in the International District, the other reason why we had the lowest crime rates in decades is because the community worked with public safety. And they worked with officers and they trusted each other. And you can't have that if folks are afraid of being deported, or if they're afraid of their college kids being deported, or if they're afraid of their children and their families being torn apart. We need everyone in Albuquerque to come together to actually fight gangs and drugs, and that means everyone. So I don't want to exclude anyone by policies that have to do with DC definitions that really aren't appropriate for our city.
Dan Lewis, your response?
I'm opposed to sanctuary cities, and I'm opposed to sanctuary policies. Everything that Tim just said didn't answer the question. If he were to answer the question as he's done in many forums in the last few months, he would honestly say that he's for sanctuary cities. To the tune of Chicago and San Francisco. But we have a very common sense policy right now, a procedure in the city of Albuquerque that protects people's constitutional rights and is sensitive. But it's a policy that allows ICE agents into our transfer center when people are booked and arrested. And it's a sensitive policy, and again, that protects people. But we have to have the proper relationship between the city of Albuquerque, between cities and the federal government. It's their job to enforce immigration, but it's not our job to hinder them in what they do. And Tim is for sanctuary cities. I'm against sanctuary cities.
Mr. Keller, rebuttal?
Well, I think the distinction is fair, and I see nothing wrong with adopting what cities like LA and other big cities have done to actually work with our entire community, including undocumented folks, to crack down on crime. That has been core to how LA has dealt with these problems. We can't do that if we have the policy that Dan mentioned. And I think at the end of the day, while we differ, I mean, Dan, when that came down to a vote, you weren't even there. At least I've been owning this from day one, where you've been changing your mind.
Mr. Lewis, your rebuttal?
A memorial vote that was extremely political. You know, all kinds of very political memorial votes go before the city council. And Tim, I think that night I was, you know, we don't walk on votes. You do that in the state senate. They walk on votes all the time. In fact, you walked on public safety votes and you voted on 30 other votes for 30 other things on many days up in the state senate. That's what politicians do. We don't walk on votes. I think that night I've missed council meetings. For one example, I was watching my son pitch in the Connie Mack World Series. The bottom line is
up. Yep. Mr. Waltz has two questions, one for each candidate. Now, a reminder to them, you will have 1 minute and 15 seconds to answer the question, but there will be no rebuttal. Kent, the first question goes for Mr. Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, you have said repeatedly and earlier tonight that as part of your strategy, you intend to hold judges accountable. But the judiciary is an independent branch of government over which the mayor has no power. And while judges in some instances have discretion, in others they are obliged to follow the law. Please explain what you hope to accomplish with your plan, noting that the system functions on a presumption of innocent until proven guilty, and how you intend to do it.
Mr. Lewis?
We're here because of a reform of the criminal court system. In 2014, there were 3,100 inmates in the Metro Detention Center, and now there are less than 1,100. And because of decisions by the New Mexico Supreme Court, the legislature led to really an emptying of our jail, letting people out scot-free, letting people out on their own recognizance with no accountability to a program called pretrial services, without the bail bondsmen holding them accountable that come along law enforcement. I want to expose that system. I could tell you that the tide is already beginning to turn because of the attention that my campaign has put on this issue. I'm willing to rate the judges. And if it's the judge's fault or if it's not their fault, the judges are the face of the decisions that are where they're dumping dangerous people back out in the neighborhoods of our streets of Albuquerque. And I want to hold them accountable. And so we're going to rate the judges. We're going to hold them accountable. We're going to judge the judges. And if it's the system that we expose, then that's a good thing. Because I'll take responsibility for the dangerous people that are being dumped out on our streets every day. Tim doesn't want to blame them. He doesn't, you know, on page 9 of his crime plan, he says that we'll use the mayor's office as a bully pulpit. But apparently not about crime and not about our judges.
Time's up. Kent, your question for Tim Keller.
Mr. Keller, you chose public financing for your campaign, saying that how you get into office is important. Currently, there is one ethics complaint pending that alleges that your campaign improperly accepted checks, which it can't do, and labeled them as in-kind contributions. And another alleges improper coordination between your campaign and an independent committee supporting your election. How do you respond to these allegations?
Mr. Keller?
Well, those allegations are false, and they're also coming from one of our former opponents in the mayor's race, and they're deeply politically motivated. They're also being represented by a Republican Party official. These things are nothing but cheap shots to try and show folks that there isn't a better way to do things when there actually is. I'm proud that we took public financing, and back in February, I want to thank all the 6,000 folks in Albuquerque who gave us $5 so that we could qualify for that process, and so that we could demonstrate that there's actually a better way to get to office instead of taking big money and participating in this system that is tearing apart America. So for me, this issue too, we've been very transparent about the whole time. And we did the rules that were set out in February, and we disclosed all of the appropriate accounting, and we never had any audit issues or anything until our political opponents started filing these trumped up complaints. So for me, I think this is a reflection of what happens when you stand up against the system. And we see this too with outside groups coming in with money on both sides, but particularly against me, that have nothing to do with the city, but they're afraid of a mayor who's not going to have a bunch of well-connected friends in City Hall.
Shelley Urbano now has a question for both candidates. Shelley.
As you know, gentlemen, a mandatory paid sick leave ordinance was placed on the ballot. It narrowly defeated earlier this month. If elected, would you work to help craft a new ordinance, or would you leave it as is?
Mr. Keller, you go first.
You know, for me, this is a good example of leadership, and I've got a track record in the legislature of bringing both sides together around common sense legislation that actually works for all of us. And when it comes to sick leave, the idea is something that I think we very much need, and we saw this with the tie vote. You know that this is not going away. What happened is that we didn't have anyone in the first place to actually bring people together. The mayor, city council, they had 3 years to actually come up with a compromise bill so that we don't have these referendums coming from left field. And no one acted. No one took a stand. I'll take a stand and I'll say, you know what? We can have reasonable legislation that protects small business and that just punishes bad actors. And then we can also celebrate that we have a good sick leave policy that's good for our city. And I know as a father of 2 young kids, and my wife and I both work, and when any of our kids get sick, we see what happens in terms of what if there was actually just one of us, a single parent with 2 kids and no support network, and you get fired because you have to take a day off work? That is the path towards poverty in Albuquerque. That's the path we have to stop. But we can do that and still protect businesses.
Mr. Lewis, your response?
The vast majority of businesses in our city take care of their employees. And we'll work together, you know, with the city council and with the stakeholders, the businesses in this city, to help those that don't. But I will not propose a new sick leave act. I think the voters voted loud and clear, about 45,000 people that voted against that bill. And the fact is, Tim, you voted for the exact bill. With all the problems that you have a hard time with, you still voted for the exact bill that mandated regulations on small business in the city. The businesses that create 80% of the jobs in this city. And the people said that they recognize that this would hurt families. This is not about business against families. This would hurt the families in our city. But the fact is, this is not just one issue from outside of our state, from places like New York that come into our city, and people like Tim will carry their water. There are many, many ideas like this that put a burden on small businesses, the job creators in our city. And make no mistake that if Tim was in that mayor's office, that he'd sign it and he'd carry their water. I want to lift people out of poverty in this city by helping the job creators thrive, by helping us expand our business and our economy and create new jobs, high-paying jobs that help people help their families.
Mr. Keller, rebuttal?
Well, I mean, I think you had 8 years to do that, and you also had 3 years from when this bill came up to actually propose something that would accomplish that. And so for me, this is a reflection of an absence of leadership, and that's what we've had in Albuquerque. That's fundamental to the problems all across the board. And even things like a scorecard for judges. I mean, these are the kind of gimmicks that have nothing to do with running our city. I want to make sure that we're moving forward. And the important thing with that is also respecting both sides. You know, one of the things people don't like about politicians is when they just blame and cast shadows on others. Look, both sides have a good point. Let's come together.
Mr. Lewis, your rebuttal?
What Tim's saying is irresponsible. It's just absolutely irresponsible to not take responsibility, you know, for decisions that are being made that are dumping people on our streets that are dangerous. And you know, Tim, you know, we have to take responsibility for that. And you know, we're willing to blame everybody else, but we got to take responsibility, you know, for the crime. And you have a record, Tim, of putting criminals before law-abiding citizens. You know, HR issues have to do with the state legislature. You didn't get that done, so they came to the city of Albuquerque and tried to get it through a ballot initiative. It would hurt small businesses in this city.
Time. Now, we mentioned the candidates would have a chance to ask each other a question, and this is that time. Candidates, you have 30 seconds to ask. You will each get 1 minute and 15 seconds to respond, and your opponent will get a 30-second rebuttal opportunity. Mr. Keller, you ask the first question.
You know, my question, I think, is really if we look at the last 8 years and we see skyrocketing crime, we see 50% increase in violent crime, #1 in auto theft, and we see flatlining jobs, flat wages, no increase in jobs. We see our kids leaving our city. How do you explain how you let that happen as a city councilor?
Mr. Lewis?
Tim, I'm not a career politician. I have a full-time job. I've created private jobs in this city. I serve on the city council, one of 9 city councilors. It's the executive that hires police officers, the executive that leads those departments. I cannot wait to be the executive of this city, you know, to change this city. But see, you got a record of putting criminals before law-abiding citizens. And that's what people are afraid of in this city, Tim. Afraid of sex offenders that could live anywhere they want to live. And you thought Santa Fe was better at making that decision than people in the city of Albuquerque. You see, you spent 6 years in Santa Fe and did absolutely nothing to representing an international district that still is the highest crime rate in the city. And a lot of people live there that also would love to have sick leave act, Tim, but you don't need it because you live in the country club.
Mr. Keller, rebuttal?
Well, you know, I asked you a very direct question just about the record of the city, and all you did was talk about my record. So I'll wait till you ask me a question to get to my record, but look, I'm running on my record, so I'm happy to explain it, and I'm not sure why you're not running on yours. I mean, at the end of the day, all of these things happened under your watch, and the bus is going over a cliff, and you're asking for a promotion. I mean, that's just not the way it works. You had 8 years to deal with all of these issues, and you won't even answer questions about them.
Okay, next question from the candidate. Mr. Lewis?
Tim, Albuquerque Forward Together is big money. It's a big money PAC that's working for your campaign, raising money for your campaign. And at one point you called it, you said big money in campaigns was a cancer. I mean, a cancer to democracy. And in another interview, you said that you're grateful for Albuquerque Together and you're grateful for the people that have raised money for it, the people that are giving money to it. Which is it? Are you grateful? Is it a cancer or is it both?
Mr. Keller?
Well, what it is a reflection of Citizens United and how broken this system is. Look, there are PACs, there are dozens of PACs in this race. You have some helping you, there's a bunch attacking me. And yes, I do think it balances things out if there's one actually helping me. But no one's coordinating, and this is not the way it should be. I'm running to change this. And the only way to do that is to walk the walk when it comes to the decisions I can actually control. And that was the decision to take public financing. I can't control any of those other issues. That was a decision based on courage. It was a decision based on conviction. And it's a decision that was not easy. And it took 6,000 folks to actually help me do that, to give us that $5. And from every step of the way, that is the most rewarding political experience I've ever had. Because now when folks call up and they want to give money, they want to do different things, I say, you know what? For me and my campaign, we're doing public financing. And that means I'm going to be able to accomplish the things we talk about on the campaign trail. It means that I'm going to get into City Hall without having a bunch of well-connected folks following me on the way in. It means that I can stand up to companies like Santolina who are running those negative attack ads that everyone is just disgusted by and that are completely wrong because they're not funding my campaign. Instead, they're funding my opponent's campaign and helping my opponents and helping folks file frivolous lawsuits. That's not right. That's what I'm running against.
Mr. Lewis, rebuttal.
Tim, is it a cancer? Are you grateful for it, or is it both? I mean, you're the leader of that political pack. Your prior campaign for auditor, you gave $40,000. The same people that have given to that pack gave $60,000 to your auditor campaign. So it's embarrassing to think that you think that that everybody believes you, that nobody thinks that there's no coordination going on between that big money PAC slush fund that you have and your public dollars that you're receiving from taxpayers.
Kent Waltz has our next question for both candidates. Kent.
As you know, the city is working to comply with a consent agreement it entered into with the Department of Justice after DOJ found APD had engaged in a pattern and practice of unconstitutional use of force, including fatal shootings. Some have argued it was a mistake to even enter into that agreement. Do you agree with that? Do you think it has hurt officer morale? And under your administration, how will you seek to guide this process?
Mr. Lewis, you go first.
Well, the DOJ is here because of the failures of this current administration to lead and to get ahead of it without being drug along by the courts and the DOJ. So we're 2.5 years into a 4-year agreement with the DOJ. The DOJ is there's a prosecutor, there's a monitor overseeing it, and a court and a defense, which is the city of Albuquerque. We'll lead from the front. As mayor, I won't let the courts and the DOJ drag us along. We'll lead from the front. We'll end that agreement as soon as possible. We'll comply with every part of the agreement, and we'll send the DOJ packing back to DC.
Mr. Keller, your response.
Well, I think this is just a good example where there's just a big disconnect between words and action. And, you know, even thinking about what was said earlier, you know, like with public financing, Dan, you took public financing when you ran for city council. And here you invited the DOJ in, but now you want to get them out, but nothing actually changed in terms of the last 2.5 years. And it's actually being controlled by city council fundamentally at the end of the day too. So for me, this is where a mayor's got to really step up. Look, we are going to finish the DOJ reforms, and then we are going to take back our police department. And then we're going to use all the funding that we've been wasting on all of these advisors and lawyers, $10 million, and we're going to use that to fund new officers in our police department. And we're not going to shy away from discussions about use of force. You know, the reason why the DOJ is still here is because no one on council and no one in City Hall is willing to actually stand up for our officers and stand up for the community and say we've got to come together and we've got to do what Seattle did and what LA did, and we've got to agree on use of force policies that respect our diverse communities, but that also protect our officers. And that approach is exactly why I'm proud to have the endorsement of our Albuquerque police officers and why I'm the one who will actually finish the DOJ reforms and send them home.
Mr. Lewis, a rebuttal?
Tim was endorsed by a handful of union bosses in the APOA. Just a handful in the back room of union bosses that endorse you, Tim. But the rank and file support me, and they know that I've had their back. And they know that when there were issues in the department in 2010 and 2011, that I was the first to stand up to say we're going to open up the closed doors and shine the light on this department and clear those good officers and get beyond it. It's about leadership, you know, Tim, and it's about the rank and file of that police department that understands that the kind of leadership that they need.
Mr. Kelly, your rebuttal?
Well, look, that's a slap in the face to law enforcement. I mean, the rank and file are the folks who've endorsed me, and it's the same with the firefighters and also retired officers. And it's exactly because what you just said, they don't believe, because you've been saying it and then voting otherwise. In 2009, you voted to literally cut the police department. In 2015, page 37 in the budget, you traded your own capital outlay money in exchange for pulling money from the police department. That's why they're not supporting you.
Shelley Rabando has the next question for both candidates. Shelley.
This was touched on a little while ago, but do you think the Albuquerque Rapid Transit Project was a mistake? And if you're elected, how will it fit in your vision to help promote improvement of our city? And can you give examples of what you would do?
Mr. Keller, you go first.
You know, for me, I do believe in public transit, and I love it when someone else is going to pay for it. So conceptually, this was worth looking at, but that's where it went wrong. This was a top-down issue that we were told what to do and how to do it, and our city didn't want it. And City Hall ignored us. And that's wrong. And I never want to run a city like that again. I'm going to listen to folks, and I believe in bottom-up government instead of top-down government. But look, this is coming. There's nothing we can do about it because City Council and the mayor have already passed it, and it's going to be what it is. So what a mayor has to do is make the best of it. And that's why I think we've got to fix some of these design challenges. We've got to look at the left-hand turn issue that's destroying businesses up and down Central and cut some left-hand turns to save those businesses. We've got to look at the dedicated lane issues and free those up so that we don't have as much traffic problems. But most importantly, we've got to blend this with Rapid Ride, because this is supposed to work for commuters. And the only way it's going to do that is if we take it over to the west side, to Cottonwood Mall, and over to Coronado, and then take it to the Isotopes game and the Pit, so we can see Lobo games and eventually go to the airport. That's a program that people will actually use.
Mr. Lewis, your response.
I think our differences on this are very, very clear. I will focus on core infrastructure projects in the city that everybody recognizes that we need. Dire needs like the Paseo I-25 interchange that everybody recognized was a dire need. I championed and spearheaded that project. We will fix our aging roads. We will make sure we have the infrastructure that City Hall is doing what it's supposed to be doing, not celebrating a politician's pet project and celebrating $120 million in federal dollars and taxpayer dollars, and then talking about how we're going to expand it. The question is, how are we going to pay for the kind of proposals, the kind of extreme proposals that Tim's talking about? We're going to focus on the core infrastructure that everyone recognizes that we need.
Mr. Keller, rebuttal?
Well, I think it's okay to agree on a few things. I mean, I helped you with that I-25 project. And look, at the end of the day, we have a huge, you can't ignore the art problem. It's not going to go away. We're going to still owe money, and it's going to exist. So you got to make the best out of it. And the only way to actually finance the current debt City Council racked up is to take it to the airport and use bonding against the airport. That's a leader being ready to do what needs to happen in December.
Mr. Lewis, rebuttal?
Well, I mean, you said it, Tim. You got to take away money from the airport, bonding capacity from the airport. It's got to come from somewhere. To operate this system is going to be astronomical. To operate, it's going to be a little bit like the rail run, where we're faced with millions of dollars and how we're going to pay for it. So there's a big difference in someone who champions pet projects from politicians, who'll probably offer many more if he's mayor in the next 4 years, and someone who's going to take care of business, take care of the core infrastructure in our city that we all recognize that we need.
Another question now from a viewer. Michael Wheeler on our Facebook page asks, Albuquerque is known as the worst for crime and auto thefts. Our education system is lacking. This is horrible and a downright embarrassment. How are you going to sell Albuquerque to prospective companies? Mr. Lewis, you go first.
Well, we're going to make it a safe place to do business and a fair place to do business. But we must change the reputation of Albuquerque. Not just the reputation, but we got to change the reality. And the fact is that businesses are being broken into. They're frustrated. They're paying a whole lot of money that they shouldn't have to be paying. And so we're going to do community policing. We're going to put the priority on our budget into APD and ensure we have 1,200 officers. You'll see an officer everywhere you go in the city, a marked police car everywhere you go in this city. We may not have an officer on every corner, but we'll have an officer that knows every corner and every business and every area of our city, doing community policing, a part of the very fabric of our neighborhoods. But it's going to take a mayor with the right kind of leadership to be able to fund it, and to be able to lead the department to be the most respected and trusted department in the country.
Mr. Keller, your response?
Well, I think this is part and parcel for what politicians have been saying for 10 years. Of course we want to do all that stuff. The question is how? I mean, at some point, we've got to get to some substance about how we're going to deal with this and not just talking about making our city great and helping our police officers. And I think this question really gets to auto theft. And look, there is a bill before City Council right now. You have to do two things for auto theft. You've got to address the supply and the demand. And so on the supply front, we've got to crack down on pawn shops and folks who are illegally buying stolen goods. And there's a bill before council right now. And that is a way today, you could do more right now as a city councilor than anything you just mentioned by supporting that bill. And the second thing is funding officers. I agree. We haven't funded officers in the last 10 years. and we talk about it, but then we do things like the softball field project in your district for that big developer out on the west side. That was $20 million that we could have used for all of these other priorities. That's how you prioritize, with actual money, not just talking about it.
Mr. Lewis, rebuttal?
Well, this is what politicians say that spend 6 years in Santa Fe. Yet Tim took a walk on a bill that would create a new type of felony specifically for auto theft. He took a walk on it. That's what they do in Santa Fe. We don't take a walk on the city council. We walk right back out into that community that we just voted for, that we just voted on issues for. But Tim voted on 30 different, on that specific bill, you voted on 30 different bills that day, but you took a walk for that one. And Tim, you got a record of putting criminals before law-abiding citizens in the city.
Your rebuttal?
Well, that's just not true about a record. And look, in the difference in Santa Fe is we vote like 5,000 times, and so no one has a 100% record when it comes to showing up. City council, you rarely vote, and you took a walk on the IDO vote, you took a walk on immigrant cities, and you took a walk on the police oversight board. Those are huge issues. I voted on those bills hundreds of times every year. People know where I stand on that.
Okay, Kent Waltz has the next question for both candidates. Kent.
Albuquerque has lagged behind places like El Paso and Oklahoma City in terms of downtown revitalization. In fact, one business in Albuquerque, a prominent business, has threatened to relocate from downtown because of crime and panhandlers. What is your vision for downtown revitalization?
Mr. Keller, you go first.
Well, I think this is an important thing for our whole city. And I know our whole city has challenges, but we really rise and fall in many ways with downtown. And so that's why I want to do some specific things. Number one is we're going to make it its own policing district, and we're going to have beat policing with officers on foot and on bike downtown and in other parts of our community. But in terms of revitalization, here's what we've got to do. Look, the issue is no one is going downtown in the evening and on the weekends, and we have to fix that. And to do that, we've got to bring Civic Plaza to life. And that's why I believe we should have restaurants and entertainment downtown that are for all ages. And it also means putting a performing arts center downtown so that we have a reason to go down there in the evening and on the weekends. It also means transforming the rail yards. For decades, we've waited and we've hemmed and hawed on what to do with that project. All we've got to do is put the same kind of economic development incentives together that we currently give to out-of-state companies into the rail yards project. And we'll make something that can transform our community and perhaps even the state. And lastly, I do believe we should actually have that soccer stadium down there and the developments along Innovate ABQ. These are good things for our city. I'm going to make sure that we finish the job.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, your response.
You know, these are many projects that are recognized that many of the developers in downtown, people that live downtown, recognize that we need. But I'm not going to pick and choose when it comes to public safety. I'm not going to pick and choose between neighborhoods in our city. I'm not going to put a priority and make sure that people are safe downtown, but not safe on the west side and not safe in the Northeast Heights, not safe on the Southwest Mesa. I'm going to ensure that this entire city is safe, and that we're going to we're going to put law-abiding citizens of this city, before the criminals in this city. And we're going to tell criminals in this city together that we're not leaving, that you are. As businesses, we're not leaving, the criminals are. But we're going to ensure we do that with good leadership in our police department, good leadership from the mayor's office, and businesses like Lavu and others. We're going to want them to just want to do business downtown because people are living downtown, people are going to the grocery store downtown, that businesses are thriving and there's entertainment downtown, but it's because we have a whole city that's safe and a city that's fair to do business with.
Mr. Keller, rebuttal?
Well, we both want a safe city and we want a fair city. And I think the difference is at some point you've actually got to make some decisions and actually invest in some ideas and put the same kind of leadership and effort that we put into building different projects around the city into actually making our city safe. And I think that's the real difference between us. I am running on specific ideas, and they're ideas that have come from the community. And folks know that if I'm going to be mayor, we're going to push 5 or 6 priorities, we're going to listen, and we're going to learn, and we're going to act. We're not just going to sit here and tell you that we're going to make you safe.
Mr. Lewis, rebuttal.
You know, the mayor is the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And a part of downtown, you have to look at downtown as an opportunity that we have to be able to get a great return on the taxpayers' property and dollars. And so we have to put a priority on the private investment that is interested in downtown. So it takes smart zoning to ensure that the city of Albuquerque is the right partnership with properties downtown, that the right zoning is in place, that there's, certainly that that downtown is safe, but that people want to live downtown.
Time. Okay, now back to Shelley Rabando, who has another question for both candidates. Shelley.
Whether we're driving around or walking through our city, we all see panhandlers and homeless on many street corners. What can be done to help? What are your specific solutions to this?
Mr. Lewis, you go first.
Well, we're going to strengthen the ordinance. Right now we have an ordinance that's very weak. It's before the council right now, and we're going to strengthen that ordinance, and we're going to have enough police officers to be able to enforce it. And we also need to work on transit or really the transit for those that are homeless and down and out, to be able to get to mats, to be able to get to an area where they can be assessed and get help for what they need without taxing our fire department. We don't want to tax the fire department that's responding to other calls, and they're overtaxed with calls. But we want to put the priority on being able to transfer those that are homeless and those that are in need to homeless shelters and to mats. But specifically, panhandling starts with enforcing that ordinance, with having the kind of ordinance that we can back up. We have a current ordinance right now that's just almost impossible to back up in court, and those that are taking advantage of it, and that's why you see it right now. So we'll strengthen that ordinance. We'll have the amount of police officers to be able to enforce it, and we'll get people the help that they need by getting them transferred to the places that can help them.
Mr. Keller, your response.
Well, I think the question is, how do we get people the help that they need? How do we not tax the fire department? How do we enforce the ordinance? These are things that have been in place and we've been trying to do for the last 8 years. So we've got to do things differently. So I believe in a diversion program where instead of calling the fire department or 911, in which case 9 cars show up and 2 ambulances, and then taking folks to the ER, which is the most expensive place to take them, and then they get pushed out on the street, we have to do it differently. So I want to have a different program. It's called Community Paramedicine. It's something the county's starting. The city just has to work with them to scale this, but it means a social worker comes out and a paramedic to stabilize the situation. And then the social worker is able to actually parse people, because places like Matt's have 12 beds and are only for detox. We've got a behavioral health and an addiction crisis in Albuquerque. And it's time the city acknowledge that and we step up and own the solution to do that. So that means we also have a place to take people. Look, at the end of the day, we need a center for the homeless where we can actually give people job training and get people off the street and get them into housing and get them on a path to a better future. Until we do that, we're just going to be saying the same thing for the next 8 years.
Mr. Lewis, rebuttal?
Well, we've got to pay for that. And when you're talking about a medic from AFD, you're talking about taxing a fire department that is absolutely at the max when it comes to calls. I spent time on July 4th in the back of an engine, the back of a ladder, with those rank and file firefighters and responding to the majority of down and out calls. And so to take those medics out of the fire department, put them into a program like that, it'll be astronomical to pay for it, Tim, and it'll tax our fire department. So we have $45 million in a new tax from the county for behavior health, and we got to make sure it goes to the right places.
Mr. Keller, 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
Well, the firefighters are the ones who are doing this already and who gave me the idea, so I think that they like it very much. And insurance companies want to help pay for it because it's an ER diversion program. But at the end of the day, the limiting factor in money is actually a housing voucher. And ABQ Heading Home is a wonderful program. We fund about 400 vouchers a year. We need to fund thousands. And for the price of the fountain on Civic Plaza, we could take 1,000 panhandlers off the street and give them the help that they need. Those are the kinds of choices I'm going to make as mayor.
Well, Ken Wallace has a different question for each of the candidates. They will still have 1 minute and 15 seconds to respond, but there will be no rebuttals. Kent, your first question for Tim Keller.
Mr. Keller, you've made comments calling for common sense gun regulations, particularly in light of recent mass shootings. Exactly what solutions are you proposing?
Mr. Keller.
Well, when we think about what happened in Las Vegas and what's happened all across our country, we've got to balance that with our Second Amendment, and I understand that. And I think as a mayor, we have to do everything we can to address crime in our city. And there's 2 challenges that are driving gun violence. The first one is that we have these online, unofficial, unregulated gun exchanges that are not permitting background checks. All I believe is that we should have background checks, which is federal law, and so we should enforce federal law. The second thing is we've got to enforce felons who are carrying illegal firearms that are not registered and they didn't acquire properly. That's something even the NRA and I agree on. But the city has never stepped up to do this. We talk about the revolving door judges. Almost everyone coming out of that door has a firearm that they're not supposed to, and yet we're afraid to prosecute them. That's how we connect gun violence to actually stopping the revolving door and actually reducing crime in our city.
Kent, your question for Dan Lewis.
Different question, same topic. Councilor, you've made a point of saying you were the only candidate endorsed by the National Rifle Association and that you're a concealed carry permit holder. In light of these recent events and the increased armed robberies in Albuquerque, what are your views on this topic?
Mr. Lewis.
Thank you. The state legislature tacking on a 10-year sentence to those that use those guns that Tim was talking about that are felons. Tim had a chance to do that for 6 years in the state Senate, never did it. 3 strikes you're out type of legislation that the state legislature needs to do. Tim had a chance to do that for 6 years and never did it. Tim has a record of putting criminals before law-abiding citizens, and it has affected our city. But, you know, I want to protect people. You know, and what Tim said was talking points from national organizations that are anti-gun. What he repeated are those kinds of talking points to people that want to take away guns from law-abiding citizens. And people in the city are concerned, they're afraid that they may not have the opportunity to be able to defend themselves, defend their families. And we need to make sure that they always have that right. And not another politician from Santa Fe coming along and saying that he knows best for what the city of Albuquerque should do, and yet never did anything in Santa Fe to be able to change those laws. See, the fact is, they come to the city of Albuquerque because they can't get it done in Santa Fe. We need common sense, not extremists like Tim.
We're getting near the end of our debate, so let's give our candidates one more chance to ask each other a question. Remember, you get 1 minute and 15 to respond, and your opponent will have a 30-second rebuttal. Mr. Keller asked the first question last time, so this time, Mr. Lewis.
Tim Heath Hauserman wrote an article, a story. He won an award for it. And in that article, he said that your past failure is a cancer, of pervasiveness and an acceptance of conflict. And he was talking about the conflict in the state Senate with your business relationships. He won won an award for it. I just want to know if you think he deserved that award.
Mr. Keller.
Well, I think what you're referring to is this issue that came up with respect to how I was proud to work for tribal governments in the private sector. And I have a 15-year background, a finance degree, an MBA, and I had a wonderful, successful business career. And at the end of the day, these accusations that were made and that you reiterated were just completely wrong. And that came out even in his own story. In fact, the reason why he won that award is because he actually fleshed out everything that had happened. And it turns out that the person who is actually saying those things is indicted by the FBI for saying that. And that's why no one even knows about what you're talking about, because it's a non-issue. And at the end of the day, look, this campaign at some point needs to be about the future of our city and about ideas on how we're going to change things in our city that a mayor can actually do. And it's not about empty rhetoric and talking points about votes in Santa Fe and all these other things that you seem to bring up whenever anyone asks you a question. I'm focused on real solutions for our city to move us forward. And folks know my background. They know that I pushed the envelope in the state Senate and I ran hundreds of bills for all sorts of things that did all sorts of good for New Mexico. And that's why they elected me state auditor, because I've got a track record of standing up against corruption.
Mr. Lewis, rebuttal?
Tim, I believe that we can have a mayor that's both effective and ethical. And the fact is that ethics issues seem to follow you everywhere you go and everything you decide to run for and everything you do. You have multiple ethics violations charges in the city of Albuquerque right now that you're faced with. The Board of Ethics had to shut down your money laundering with putting in-kind money into your political consultants. You've had a track record of conflict of interest that Heath Hauserman, a New Mexico Independent reporter, won an award for the conflicts of interest that he investigated about you.
Time. Mr. Keller, your question for Mr. Lewis.
Well, I'm proud to talk about my record, and I encourage folks to look at it. The question I think that you've been avoiding is your record. How can you explain voting for someone who missed the vote on sanctuary cities, missed the vote on planning and development for the IDO, missed the vote on police oversight, cut 100 police officers out of our department in 2009, tried to take money from crossing guards the next year to actually try and fund the police department? I mean, at the end of the day, you also took city contractor money for your own gasoline business.
Mr. Lewis, response?
How do you answer that?
Tim, you were the auditor. You audited the city, and that's the first time you've ever brought that up. You were the state auditor. But the IG did audit it. The IG audited, the Inspector General audited it and found there was nothing wrong. I've never had an ethics violation against me. I've never had an ethics complaint. And yet you have multiple ones. You have multiple ethics complaints. And you have a history that just follows you. The fact is, I've been creating private jobs in this city. I've been signing both the front and the back of a paycheck. When I miss a council meeting, after 8 years, when I miss council meetings, I don't walk. I have a real job. You know, when my work calls me away, I go do that. In the mills that you mentioned, I was a big part of crafting a lot of those bills. Or my son's pitching in the Connie Mack World Series, that's why I go. You take walks in the Senate. That's what people do. That's what politicians in the Senate do. And the fact is, you missed a whole lot of public safety votes. And you also voted on the kinds of things that put criminals, you know, before law-abiding citizens. You voted on a bill, SB 184, that's just dangerous, Tim. It's dangerous and disgusting. And it puts in harm the women and the children in the city. You thought Santa Fe could decide it better than Albuquerque could.
Mr. Keller, rebuttal.
Well, I think, look, one of the problems is when politicians think they're more important than they are. And no one, Dan, is helping felons, and no one is actually putting criminals before people. I really don't believe anyone does that. And I think it's very disingenuous that you even suggest that. And at the end of the day, you have a record which can't be explained by just missing one vote. I have a family too. I've got a 2- and a 4-year-old, and I believe you're probably a very good dad. I think I'm a good dad. That's not what this race is about. It's about Albuquerque.
Okay, that is the final question for tonight's debate. Now the candidates will each get 1 minute for a closing statement. Mr. Keller, you go first.
Well, at the end of the day, our city needs leadership, and my track record is one of just that. Folks know my record in the Senate. I had the most bipartisan bills of any legislator during my tenure, and folks know my record as state auditor. I've fought against corruption, fraud, waste, and abuse all over our community, and I know what it actually takes to run a city differently. And for me, at the end of the day, we've got to do a couple of things. We've got to own these challenges and not wait for anyone else to deal with these issues before us. It's the mayor's job to fix crime. It's the mayor's job to help our economy. It's the mayor's job to help our schools and do something for our kids. That's why I'm running on specifics. And that's why folks know that I will do what I've always done, which is I will listen and I will learn and I will take action. And I'll make those hard decisions. We might not agree on everything all the time, and that's okay, because we're going to agree on a whole lot, and we're going to bring our city together and not try and divide us.
Mr. Lewis, your closing statement.
You know, the stakes in this election are high. Albuquerque will have a new mayor here in the next few weeks, and the differences between Tim and I are great. I believe Tim's a nice guy, and I think he has great intentions. It's just that our vision for this city and our records are so different. Tim has a record of putting law-abiding citizens behind criminals in this city. You know, from letting them have electronic devices in the jail, in the prison, from SB 184. That Tim thought at the very least that Santa Fe should decide where sex offenders could live, you know, next to the people that they've offended. We have a very far different vision of this city and how we get there. You know, Tim's right that, you know, the downfall of elected officials is when they begin to think they're more important than they really are. And they forget that it's about serving the people of the city before politics, before partisan decisions. And we'll do that. I'll put the people of the city first before anything.
Early voting has started for this mayoral runoff. There are 11 voting locations all over the city. Here's a look at the map with those locations marked. We also have a list at KOAT.com. Now that will do it for our Commitment 2017 Albuquerque mayoral runoff debate. Thank you again to the League of Women Voters, Action 7 News anchor Shelley Rabando, and Kent Waltz with the Albuquerque Journal, and of course, the candidates Tim Keller and Dan Lewis. Remember, Election Day is November 14th, and we will have complete coverage leading up to that vote, and right here on election night, here on KOAT Action 7 News. Thank you for watching, and good night.